In 2015, a small group of brilliant idealists made a promise. They were going to build artificial intelligence to save humanity, not to make a profit. They had the smartest minds in the world, a completely open source philosophy, and a mission that sounded absolutely bulletproof. Then something shifted, and today that exact same nonprofit is a $500 billion empire, driven by some of the most aggressive, cutthroat corporate tactics we've ever seen. How does a mission that pure completely unravel? Welcome to MarketMindLab. In this explainer, we are investigating the strangest startup in Silicon Valley history. We're not just going to talk about code or algorithms here. We're looking at the psychology, the messianic egos, the secret diaries, and the absolute corporate civil war that built OpenAI. We want to know why incredibly smart people made the choices they did. So, let's get right into the psychology behind the AI revolution nobody saw coming.
Act 1. The impossible situation.
When Sam Altman and Elon Musk first launched OpenAI back in 2015, they genuinely, truly believed they were preventing a Terminator-style scenario. The goal was to democratize artificial general intelligence, or AGI, through totally transparent research. And honestly, this mission was so incredibly magnetic that top researchers were literally turning down multi-million-dollar offers from Google just to be part of it. But this altruistic dream immediately collided with a very harsh reality: compute costs. Training these massive advanced models like GPT requires an unbelievable, unprecedented amount of computing power. A lab of this scale is essentially a black hole for cash. And by 2018, the donations they relied on just weren't cutting it anymore. Their noble mission had hit a massive financial brick wall. Act 2. The critical decision. Now, when a company hits a wall like that, leadership gets put to the ultimate test. By 2018, this financial drain caused the very first major fracture inside OpenAI. The fear of failure drove Elon Musk to actually demand total control of the company. He reportedly even told the team he could just go start another AI company tomorrow if they didn't hand over the reins. Psychologically, this is a textbook example of status seeking. Musk fully believed that his singular leadership, and only his, could save humanity. But the board, they flat out refused his demands, so he stormed out. That left OpenAI entirely independent, sure, but completely broke. To survive, Sam Altman had to make a choice. And this decision changed the trajectory of the company forever. In 2019, he created a for-profit subsidiary. The whole goal here was to attract the kind of massive venture capital that a strict nonprofit legally can touch. But here's what's fascinating. What happened inside the minds of the people actually working there? This pivot triggered immense cognitive dissonance within the team. I mean, imagine joining a strict, altruistic nonprofit, literally taking a pay cut to help save the world, and suddenly you're standing in an organization that's selling off its equity to the highest bidder. The mental discomfort was just massive. They were living a complete contradiction. But cognitive dissonance has a funny way of fading when you introduce a number like this: $1 billion. Microsoft stepped in with a massive check. And with that single, monumental investment, the open in OpenAI practically vanished overnight. Survival officially overrode transparency. Act 3. The hidden psychology. Of course, not everyone could just brush off that shift. This mission drift deeply troubled a faction of researchers led by Dario Amodei. They feared Altman was prioritizing market dominance over safety, so they left to found Anthropic, which is now OpenAI's biggest rival. Fast forward to the release of ChatGPT. Suddenly, OpenAI is the absolute center of the world, and all that internal pressure finally cooks into a legendary 5-day corporate meltdown in November 2023. Day 1, the nonprofit board shocks everyone and fires Sam Altman. Day 3, over 700 employees threaten to quit. And by day 5, Altman returns in total triumph. To really understand why this happened, we have to look at the conflicting narratives. The board's official reason for firing Altman was that he was, quote, not consistently candid with them. They basically felt they couldn't trust him to lead the AI transition safely. But behind closed doors, rumors were swirling that the board was actually terrified by a massive secret breakthrough known as Q-Star, which some people inside thought was early AGI. And this right here is where human psychology completely hijacked corporate governance. What we saw over those 5 days was sheer, unadulterated tribalism. Think about it. Over 700 employees actively chose the specific leader they trusted over the institution's actual safety mandate. They didn't really care about the board's rules. They cared about their tribe. This tribalism stems from a potent mix of a messiah complex and the halo effect. Sam Altman had essentially become the absolute, unquestioned face of the AI future. Investors and employees truly believed his presence was the literal only thing keeping the company and, let's be honest, their equity alive. Because of this halo effect, almost everyone just completely ignored the board's very real warnings about his lack of candor.
Act 4. The consequences.
The fallout of this 5-day meltdown completely redefined the tech industry. During all the chaos, Microsoft, this silent, massive giant in the background, simply offered to hire the entire OpenAI team if they quit. That move stripped the safety board of absolutely all their leverage. The consequences were permanent. Sam Altman returned, the original board members who dared to fire him were completely purged, and the balance of power shifted forever, squarely into the hands of corporate ambition. Just look at the structural culmination of all this by 2025. Back in 2015, the nonprofit had total control. It was explicitly designed to stop the company from acting like a traditional tech giant. But by 2025, the transformation was totally complete. OpenAI restructured into a public benefit corporation, and the nonprofit lost its direct control over the for-profit business entirely. If you want hard proof of how completely the original ideals had died, look no further than this quote. During Elon Musk's recent betrayal lawsuit against the company, President Greg Brockman's personal diary actually surfaced as evidence, and one of the entries explicitly asks, "Financially, what will take me to $1 billion?" The pure altruism of 2015 was gone, replaced by the ambitions of an empire.
Act 5. The lesson.
So, what can businesses, leaders, and really all of us learn from the strangest startup in Silicon Valley? The psychology here is just profound. The first big lesson: mission drift is almost inevitable when you're dealing with impossibly high-cost tech. Noble goals often survive only as long as the bank account is full. Once your survival requires billions of dollars of compute power, well, the entity writing those checks is eventually going to dictate the mission. The second crucial lesson is about human nature itself. Human loyalty to a charismatic leader will almost always overpower the strict rules of an institution. You can write all the safety charters and nonprofit bylaws in the world, but when push comes to shove, people are going to follow the person who promises them victory, not the board that preaches caution. And the ultimate consequence for the industry is pretty stark. This whole AI revolution, it started out as a collaborative, scientific effort to protect humanity. But now it's traded transparency for speed. It has become a ruthless, winner-take-all race between corporate titans who are just moving as fast as financially possible. Which leaves us with one final, deeply important question. If OpenAI does exactly what they set out to do and they achieve a true, thinking artificial general intelligence, who should actually own it? The original nonprofit foundation that promised to protect us, or the investors who paid for its birth? We'd love to hear your perspective on this. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.